Where will the top be for Bitcoin in 2025? And I know some people say, oh, it's already over, Lark. Go get a real job, man. What are you doing? It's over. Go home. I don't think so. I think 2025 is going to be a crazy year for the cryptocurrency markets for a wide variety of reasons, from everything happening with macro to the Trump pump and really just so much other stuff. The specifics of the fundamentals of what's going on with crypto, strategic Bitcoin reserve, and countries adopting, corporations adopting, people buying like crazy, millionaires and billionaires buying Wall Street ETFs and all the rest of the stuff. We got a lot of fuel left in the tank, and basically all of the top signals charts, whether it be on-chain stuff or technical stuff, none of it has really topped out. You might say there's been some sentiment of greed and stuff like that. You can say, well, look, everybody got really greedy and the greed charts went up to 85, 90 or something for a week or two, and that marked the top, and Coinbase went from number 500 or whatever in the finance apps up to top 10 in finance apps, so that must have marked the top. I don't think so. And we're going to discuss some of the reasons why in this video. So I did a highly scientific chart over here, a poll over here on X. Where does Bitcoin top? Most people saying between 150 and 200K. We've got some charts to back up why that could be a logical place to be looking. Only 15% between 200 and 250K. It's kind of where I've been thinking we could see a cycle top. We'll discuss some scenarios for that again here in a moment. 250K is the most 250K plus is the most contrarian area. Now that's very interesting. The herd's usually wrong, right? Therefore, maybe 250K is interesting. And of course, 16% of people saying the top is already in. It's over. Go home, Lark. It's done. Okay, well, that's interesting. Consensus view, 150 to 200. Most contrarian, 250K plus. Now, when do we top, according to crowd sentiment right now? It's already over. It did top. We're done. 17%. Okay. Sometime early 2026, again, the most contrarian point of view. If you believe the global M2 money analysts, then we're going to see global M2 money supply topping sometime in the first quarter of 2026. Therefore, the total market peak for Bitcoin should be somewhere right around then. I'm tired, boss. I don't know if I can make it to 2026, guys. I got to take a break. This is crazy. This is crazy. Q4 2025 in at around 31.9%. And of course, again, the consensus view around 43% in March or April. Okay, so that's interesting. March, April, 150 to 200K cycle peak. That's the most consensus view right now. And if you believe the consensus is wrong and the contrarians are right, then 250K plus 2026, early 2026 sometime. Okay, fascinating. Let's look at some charts. So this is the Bitcoin chart on the weekly. If we were to see a, let's say 150K, maybe a little bit over top, right? That would require about a further, let's say anywhere between 60 to around 70%. So between 150, somewhere, maybe 170K, right? That middle zone here, about a 75%, 80% move further for Bitcoin from here, which if you buy into the diminishing returns theory, then we would only really be seeing a little over 100% based on the previous market cycle peak. Okay, last cycle back in 2021, we saw a little bit over 200% more. So the 2017 peak was $20,000. The 2021 peak was $69,000. So 230% or something like that higher than the 2017 peak. If we once again see diminishing returns, 170, 150, 180, something like that, actually becomes a rational place to look for a market cycle peak. Rational, okay? Rationality doesn't always come into crypto, but here's another idea. Bitcoin often peaks out around 2x the 200-day simple moving average. Now, currently, we are about 37% above the 200-day simple moving average. We would need a lot more price action in order to get fully above the 200-day SMA. Now, obviously, a 140K price tag based on today's price movement, of where the SMA 200 is at, would be 140K. Okay, now since the Trump pump started, we have approximately been going up by about $1,000 a week here on the SMA 200. So let's again assume that we have a March-April top. You know, that's the first 100 days of the Trump administration. People get all excited. They pump up the coins. They bid everything up. And then after 100 days, they realize, oh, actually, we've overestimated what's going to get accomplished in a few weeks and probably underestimated the long-term impact, all this stuff. So we're going to start selling our coins, and some macro shit breaks, and I don't know, something unwinds somewhere, and panic and chaos happen, right? Okay, so that would put us around, let's say here, March. So March, or let's say April. By that point, if we keep going up by about, let's say, $1,000 a week, well, that's about 12 weeks from now. So we're going to go up by about, say, $12,000 to $15,000. So that gives us a price point for the simple moving average, a 200-day simple moving average, around $82,000 to like $85,000, $86,000, assuming momentum broadly keeps up in the market. Okay, there can be big corrections along the way, but the SMA 200 is not just a lagging indicator, but much less responsive to short-term price action. So you can have all kinds of short-term price malarkey, and the indicator still keeps grinding up. Okay, so let's say we get to 82 or 83, 84, something like that. Interesting area. Okay, so then if we assume that it's going to finish about 2x the SMA 200, so that's 100% over it, right? Then where does that put us? About $170,000 Bitcoin, $168,000 Bitcoin, which I think is where the Mayer multiple ends up as well. So there's some interesting confluence for that. Here we go, Mayer multiple, there you go. The classic OG metric, Mayer multiple, says 170K would not be surprising. So that would be interesting because a lot of people, of course, are expecting $200,000 Bitcoin plus. And then if we only go to 170K, they're going to be caught with their pants down because they're sitting around waiting for 200 and it never comes. And then they lose all their money again. Yeah, interesting. Interesting, right? Here's another one. Pi cycle top indicator. Now, the Pi cycle top indicator has been trending upwards, okay? Has been trending upwards recently. Around $77,000 for the 111-day moving average and around $131,000 right now for the SMA 350X2. Now, if the current momentum keeps going in the market, then we're probably going to see the Pi cycle top indicator hit around May or June, something like that, which kind of is a bit further ahead than the March-April top. But if the price starts moving faster, that starts trending up faster. And then a March-April, probably March-April's the earliest I would say the Pi cycle top indicator is going to flash. And this has been a very, very strong indicator previously for market cycle peaks. Interesting. Okay, let's see if that happens again this time. And if it does, then March-April becomes kind of an earliest possible scenario. And then we see sort of May or June be a more logical time when it could cross based on the current trajectory. And again, that trajectory can change over the coming months. Now, before we get into the 250K thesis real quick, of course, you're a crypto trader, check out BitUnix, guys. They got some great trading bonuses over here for you. So if you want to get 20% deposit rebate back, which is, of course, crazy, then use that link down below to get your account started. This is a no KYC exchange, meaning that you can trade over here with privacy, no VPN needed. Just come, trade, enjoy yourself. Got all the top coins, deep liquidity across all the major pairs. With that 20% deposit rebate, you deposit $1,000, get $200 back, which is pretty damn crazy, right? Plus, if you start doing some real trading volume over here, if you're a serious trader, then you're going to be able to get some serious money put back in your account, including up to 100,000 Pepe coin, 100,000, 100 million Pepe coins. That's a lot of Pepe coins, man. Check it out, link down below. So step 1, hit that link. Step 2, deposit some money, start trading, get your rebate. Step 3, claim your Pepe coins. Okay? Okay, so moving on. Now, what's interesting, previously, and I know previous stuff does not indicate future stuff happening, okay? But this is the Bitcoin halving back in 2020. It took us 78 weeks to reach a market cycle peak. here around $69,000. What is interesting, though, is that the Pi cycle actually topped here after 48 weeks, okay? So maybe we see a similar situation again. And you'll say, well, Lark, the Pi cycle is an invalid indicator because it peaked here, but then we got $69,000 later on. True. However, had you simply sold when the Pi cycle top indicator said the top is in, Bitcoin's had a good run, time to take some money off the table, sell your altcoins within the next 2 weeks, by the way. Not exactly on the day the Pi cycle tops, but the next 2 weeks you tend to have the biggest run on altcoins. That's the peak top for the altcoins, by the way. Now, what's interesting is that had you sold back then when the Pi cycle top was in and all your altcoins over the next 2 weeks and just walked away, man, didn't think about crypto again for 4 years, you would have been just fine. You didn't need to stay in for that second rally up. You didn't. We went from 64 peak in March, April to 69 in October, November. You got an extra $5,000 off. Most people didn't sell anyway. I didn't sell all my Bitcoin or anything like that back then because I thought we were going to go to 100K. I had convinced myself of things that were not super realistic and wasn't looking honestly at enough of the charts. Well, not making that mistake again, or I hope not anyway. So 78 weeks here. 78 weeks here would put us actually around November 2025, which in a weird way feels like a very contrarian take right now. Is basically you're saying it's going to be a standard 4-year cycle. Okay, maybe a standard 4-year cycle, we gun up to 250K. Okay, rock and roll. Now, what if we come to a 48-week scenario here? Well, that's actually April 2025 for a potential market cycle peak with the Pi cycle top indicator, picking up momentum, all that kind of stuff, everything we just talked about in the first half of the video, essentially, okay? So there's that to consider. Here's this great trend line, right? So look at this. This fantastic trend line right here, drawn all the way back to the 2017 market cycle peak. Then we have our next market cycle peaks here, okay? Now, does this run us up to the next peak? It'll be interesting to see. And if it does, well, guess what? That is right around 250 to 260, 270, depending, of course, on when we actually get there. The longer it takes, the higher it can potentially go. Okay, so this is the 250K, 200 to 250K plus idea here, right? Look at this. Titan of Crypto sharing a great chart here. It says golden ratio multiplier breakout. Bitcoin's finally breaking out above the blue line. Next target's the red line. Red line's about 150K right now, by the way. And previous market cycle peaks, 2021, hit the purple line, okay? 2017, above the purple line. So when you get above the purple line, you sell. Currently, that purple line is around $200,000, and in about 3 to 6 months' time, it's going to be over $200,000. And by the end of next year, it's probably going to be around 250 to 280. So if you believe we could get 250 even sooner, and there's a theory too. We're just covering some different ideas here, but there's also the theory that we're going to run to 250K by April or March. We're going to just go absolutely crazy. Things are going to go totally parabolic in the new year, and we're going to run up to that market cycle peak price target of 250K and hit that in April or March. I would even be in this sort of category, go to 150 to 180, something like that, March, April. Pi cycle top indicator hits. Then we have a final rally a bit higher in October, November, December, later on in the year for a final market peak around 200 to 250K. Something like that. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? CryptoCon here with a great chart. Better take myself off the screen so you guys can actually see what the heck is going on with that chart there. Move myself down here. Here we go. So he says, Bitcoin is now attempting to break level 3 of the magic bands just after a couple of retests. Well, it's not entirely locked in yet. That only leaves one band left to go, the cycle top band. It currently has a price target of $139,000, which is climbing about $300 every single day. Okay, so every 3 days, this goes up by about $1,000 for the cycle peak target, okay? So you extrapolate the math out on that, that's an extra $10,000 per month, okay? You add 12 months onto that, that's an extra $120,000. You get around a $250,000 cycle peak price. Interesting. Also interesting is that, of course, if you extrapolate that magic bands movement out to around March or April, that's another $40,000, $50,000 on top of that, which of course brings us in at the 150 to 180 range for a at least first major market peak price, okay? So that's also pretty interesting, isn't it? Oh, very curious. And On-Chain College here with the investor tool here. So this is the 730-day moving average. He said might be one of the most bullish Bitcoin charts out there. And so 730-day on the bottom, 730-day X5 on the top. He says history repeats and price reaches the top band here before the cycle is over. Then price will likely hit at least $250,000. Okay, there you go. So look, there's a lot of charts that make a good case, and there's so many more that I could share with you to make a good case for a 250K BTC, likely sometime late next year. Could be sooner. Okay, it might be in the summer, it might be in June, something like that. And there's a lot of good evidence to watch out for a potential March, April market peak. But you let me know what you think. Where do you think Bitcoin's going to go? How high is it going to go? And when is it going to get there? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back in the next one.